Hi Junkers, it's Sue here, and I thought I'd give you a really quick, hopefully quick, run through about a chair that I bought today at a furniture collector's store. And it's your very typical reproduction French style Louis chair. This one has Chesterfield buttoning over the top, and generally when I look at a chair like this, the first thing that I do is I put my knee on the pad, and then I grab with two hands each side of the back and I push for movement. Now you can see there's movement. Ordinarily I would bypass a chair like that because unless you can see right down into here, you don't know what you're getting. But I did, I put the light on my phone, and you can see I did a little bit of investigative work. And I had a look and a feel down in both sides of the chair. And what you're looking for is splitting, any wood splitting, because that is an indication that the chair really can't be fixed so that it's stable for a long life or further long life. It'd be okay for a decorative chair that was never going to be used, but it certainly isn't stable, wouldn't be stable enough for any type of sustained sitting. So I didn't find any type of splitting down in this section. So I decided at $65, I'm going to take a gamble and have a go at fixing or tightening. And I've got clamps and glue, so I'm okay with that. Now, this is a typical stuff over chair. So the stuffing and the stapling and tacking is done over the frame, so it's a stuff over. When I turn it over, I'll just see if I need to change the camera angle. No, I don't. So once I've turned it over and I look at the dust cover, sorry, Junkers, I just kicked the tripod again. You can see that it has a single coil spring system in here, and I can see the webbing where it's applied from the dust and the dirt and the grime. And you can see the spring. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this is a fairly typical spring arrangement on this shaped chair. And I'm going to respring the entire thing. As usual, I go back to wood. I take all of the old stain off, and I then do any repairs or any strengthening of the joints that's needed so that the chair can do its job again for another sustained period of time. Now, often when you're looking in stores, you can't pull this stuff back, so you have to have a feel around. Now, these feel like the webbing is all in place. It doesn't look like that it's pulled anywhere. It's still sitting in lines where it should. So that kind of tells me that seat pad wise, this seems to be okay. And the top doesn't look like, oh sorry Junkers, it's quite smooth. It hasn't dropped in any places. If you were someone who would be willing to paint it, this would probably be a decent candidate, except for there are holes in this horrible old acrylic stuff. But I'm not a fabric painter. You'll know that about me. This piece is going to be made into a bespoke art piece. I'm going to use an artwork, photograph some original artwork that my daughter did quite some time ago, and have it digitally printed onto canvas upholstery fabric. And then I'm going to try and use a continuous, have it printed so that it's in a continuous line pattern, so that I would have the top part of the artwork up here, and then I could use the bottom part down on the seat pad. And it may well be that I need to get two meters of the fabric, the same fabric picture printed, so that I can do one section there and then have it go on systematically from this part. Because what happens is when you cut fabric, you need to cut about 3 inches outside of the area where it's going to be stapled for pulling. So when I cut for the top and the bottom, there'll be 3 inches at the bottom of here that will be not seen, and then 3 inches from the top of the seat pad of the pattern that won't be seen. So it means that I will likely have, because it's a picture that I'm going to be using for the top fabric, that will mean that I'll probably need to have 2 different pieces of the same artwork printed, so I have continuity from the top to the bottom. Otherwise, the top will be here, and both of the art pieces that I'm considering are people. So there's a head and then there's a portion of chest area, and it will look super weird with a head up here and then a neck missing and then a chest here. And that's what you do with really obvious patterns on top fabrics. You have to account for the continuity of moving from the seat back to the seat pad. So when you're looking at chairs, always check for these back corner areas. Stick your fingers down here, feel for any splits in the wood, turn it around and have a look in this back area to make sure there are no splits in the wood. You know, generally splits in the wood somewhere else, maybe a little bit splitting here. You could fix that to a degree. I think splits down in these major structural areas are probably a little bit dodgy. There's something I try to avoid. So anyway, that's it from me, Junkers. Have a great Saturday. Bye.